Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, 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 welcome. This is the Political Spotlight. I am one of your hosts, Kristopher Bilbrey. How's it going? I hope you guys are doing well. It's Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, November 14th. Tuesday, November 14th in the big city. Welcome. I'm in a little bit of a funk, I think. It's kind of like the after Christmas funk that you get into, when you rip through all of your presents in the first 10 minutes and then you're sitting there and you're looking at the house is destroyed and the Christmas lights are up and there's a dusting of snow on the ground and you've watched the weather and you know that it's going to snow and be like 15 below zero in a week. And you're like, God, it should all be over. I should go outside this afternoon and it should be 70 degrees. But it's not like that. And you're now in Hell Week, which is the week between Christmas and New Year when nothing happens. And you're kind of like just all discombobulated. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And it always happens every election. Every election, it happens when all of the hype and the drama and everything is over. And then you're like waiting for the new insanity to begin. This one's a little bit different because this one's a little bit different. Philip, it's no better up here, brother. I can promise you. This one's a little different because on top of that, we're also dealing with looking down the end of the barrel at the short end of this council, this current Muncie council's time in office. So we're going to have a whole new group of people that we're going to have to break in to like how we do things around here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, bro. That's goes without saying. And knowing that the people coming in are Nora Powell and Dale Basham and just other people. I don't hold out hope that communication is going to be I don't hold out hope that communication is going to be good. Yeah, Joey. So I'll tell you where we are with that. So I primarily do that through the election because like I don't want to give that person a leg up in any way. Now that we are through the election and like we know that she's here at least for the next 4 years, it's kind of like I'm going to have to say it at some point. So I just go ahead and I say it. I'll grin and bear it for the next 4 years. And then we'll have to campaign really, really, really super hard next time. But we've got 4 years for all of that chaos and craziness. And I've got a couple things I want to talk about locally. And I want to go through my, who is it? The mailbag of hate. Who does the mailbag of hate? Is that Conan? Did Conan do the mailbag of hate? No, I do not. No, I don't look at City Hall becoming any more accessible because it was Mayor Dan that did all of that. I really think that City Hall will just continue to be like it is until that's done. But we've got my version of the mailbag of hate. We have an email that we're gonna look at here in just a moment, and because this has worked out so well here in the past, I have not pre-looked at the email ahead of time. So I'm going to be reading it the same time that I see it with you guys. But we'll look through that here in a moment. But before we do that, I want to watch this video. And it's a little bit longer video than I like to watch generally on our channel. But you've got to watch like the entirety of the video to get it. I don't know if any of you have seen this or not. Have you guys saw the fight between Senator Mullen from Oklahoma and Teamster boss O'Brien, Sean O'Brien? Have you guys watched that? Have you guys seen this, heard about this? It's interesting. I've watched this thing several times through now, and our main stars that we're going to be watching are Senator Mullen, Teamster boss Sean O'Brien, and Senator Chairperson Referee Bernie Sanders. So I want to watch this, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So let's see. When I put this up on the screen to watch, I did it a different way than how I normally would have done it. So I want to see if you can hear sound on this. I'll look for producer Kate down below. Let me know if you have sound on this. Hide. Okay. Give me 1 second. Whoops. That was weird. What just happened there? Okay, here we go. Tell me if you got sound on this. No sound on that. Okay, I know how we're going to have to do it. I knew that was going to be a problem. Okay, so we're going to watch it from a different way. I was trying to watch it from the... Just stand by 1 second. I wanted to get the whole clip. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to miss about the first minute. And so what this is, I'm going to just let this play here for a second. What this is Bernie Sanders is the chair of this committee, okay? And this committee is the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions subcommittee. So this is the HELP committee. They had a meeting today, Tuesday, November 14th at 10 a.m. And the board, I'll do it like this. Stop screening. Stop sharing. Share screen. Members. We'll put it up like this for a second. I'm going to show you who's on this board here. Okay, so this is the majority and minority of members that are on. Of course, we've got Chairman Bernie Sanders, Ranking Member Bill Cassidy, and then it ping pongs back and forth. Okay, Rand Paul's on it, Robert Casey's on it. We're gonna see some people. Oh, look, Big Mikey Braun. He might very well possibly be our governor soon, but it is what it is. So there's that. Tim Kaine's on it. Oh, look, Mitt Romney. He's amazing. And then here, ladies and gentlemen, is the star of today's performance, Mr. Markwayne Mullen, right here, okay? Oops, that didn't let me just highlight his name. Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican out of Oklahoma. He is going to be the star of this show, and it's both he and O'Brien. Okay, so let me get this pulled up here. Like this. Okay, all right. So you're going to miss. You're going to miss about the first minute of Senator Mullen talking. And basically, he just identifies who he is, and he's telling what his problem is. Now, okay, the issue here is, all right, there's been a lot of back and forth between Senator Mullen and Sean O'Brien for quite some time. And so this is not the first congressional hearing that's devolved into some angry back and forth. There was a hearing back in March in which this happened. I think that there was another incident in June in which they had some back and forth. But today's congressional hearing, again, devolved into angry confrontation between Senator Mullen and a witness testifying. And, of course, that witness was Sean O'Brien, and he is the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. And actually, at one point, Mullen told him to stand your butt up, and so they could settle their long-standing differences. And O'Brien said, "No, you stand your butt up," and they kind of went back and forth, which prompted Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, which is the chairman of the Senate panel, to kind of gavel them down. And Mullen started like taking his rings off of his hands, like they were going to like duke it out, like right in the chambers today. And Mullen said, "This is the time, this is the place," referring to a tweet that O'Brien had tweeted back in June. O'Brien, was kind of mouthing back and forth. And basically, Mullen I'm having a stroke, I think. Mullen had read a bunch of tweets that O'Brien had twittered, had posted on X, we'll say that, in the last couple months. And then Mullen said, if you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish this here and now. He said, "This is the time, this is the place." And then that kind of got crazy from there. The two men never came face to face. They were about 20 feet from each other, but they hurled insults at each other from around for about 4 minutes. Sanders repeatedly banged the gavel and tried to cut them off. And it was very, very interesting. Now, what I want to know is, because I've asked several people, I want you to take your political belief out of this. I don't want you to think about this as a Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal thing. I just want to know, if you have not watched this, if this is the first time you're going to watch this, I want to know your thoughts on what you watch here. How do you stand your butt up anyways? Well, that's a good question. So let's watch this. This is about 6 minutes, and then I will come back and we will talk about this.
Track the union dues. It's actually higher. Non-union employees are getting paid by roughly 1 to 2%, which is exactly what union dues are, is 1 to 2% of their salary. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that, and that's coming from statistics, all right? Now, let's talk about Mr. O'Brien himself, his behavior. As everybody knows, and it's here in the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be 2 consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
No, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down.
Okay.
You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough contempt for Congress. Let's
I
not
don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and
You-
bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
mic.
you because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet.
Hold on.
You challenged me to a cage match,
No,
acting
no,
like a
sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold it.
bully.
Excuse
Sir,
me.
hold on.
Hold it. No, excuse me. I have the
I will
mic.
say exactly.
Senator
what you
Mullen,
said.
I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about, of course I
And,
did.
and let me show you his hearing because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
If you're not pointing at me, that's disrespectful.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I
don't
people
respect
that I
you at all.
respect. So
All right, hold it.
let me
Hold it. No,
You're one of
Yeah,
the
hold
100
it.
of the most
Hold
elite
it,
people
please.
acted.
please. All right. This is excuse me,
Mhm.
this is a hearing to discuss economic issues. All right. If you have questions for Mr. O'Brien or anybody else on what he has said, go for it.
I mean-
But we're not here to talk about fights or anything else.
I'm quoting exactly what he said.
You can
and
say
this
what
is-
you want,
This is
but-
your witness
This
you
is
brought.
my
And let me,
witness.
I'm exposing him
You can
as a
talk
person
anything
who
you
he
want.
is. So
but
in
no fight.
2013,
Nope.
in 2013, O'Brien was suspended by the Teamsters for intimidating your own members. In 2014, you were part of, what would you say, organizing the harassment, intimidation of the Top Shelf crew.
Chef, not chef.
Top Chef. Okay. And then, and I think in the reports, they said sexual, racist and homophobic slurs and death threats. 14 tires were sliced and 5 Teamsters were arrested. And you said, well, I had nothing to do with it. But however, in that same statement, you said, but if I get called to testify, I'll plead the 5th. This is a witness you brought in here. In 2017, you were removed as lead negotiator by then President Hoffa for UPS for your actions. And then in 22, when this guy was elected, what he said after he got elected was he wanted to bring the mob mentality back to the Teamsters. This is your guy.
And you're
He
obviously
came-
going to give him a
he-
chance to
he
respond to
came-
your questions.
Absolutely, because this is my question. Because you called me out. I didn't call you out.
They
You
did.
said anytime, any place.
That's
what you
that.
said.
Let's get the record
Okay.
straight.
Miss Hold it. No.
Hold on.
Senator Mullen, do you have a question for the witness?
Yeah. I
Okay,
think that's
let's
what I'm getting
hear it.
So anytime, any place.
No, that's not,
April is a charity event.
no, that's
or-
not, no.
It's a,
No,
sir, he said it, and this is my
He is
time,
here
so
to
you
tell-
need to set
no.
parameters on what the questions can or cannot be asked, and I'll ask.
No, you're not going to, we're not going to be talking about
yes, we
physical
did.
confrontation.
Oh, this is about charity, for a union charity, because this
This
is for
is-
firefighters. and
You have a
policemen.
question on his
April,
testimony?
April.
Grow
April
up, will you
next
please?
year.
You have
grow
a
up. You're an
question
embarrassment.
on his, let's not
You
be.
said it.
You're an
You
embarrassment.
said
You're
it,
an
and I'm just
embarrassment.
simply answering it.
You
Senator
reached
Mullen,
out
go
to me,
hold it,
buddy.
hold it.
I-
Senator Mullen, you made some charges.
Charges.
Mr. O'Brien, do you want to respond to
Yeah, go
the
ahead,
question?
please.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality of it is, you
Accept
know,
my challenge,
Mr.
tough guy.
Mullen.
Hey, the reality of it
Tough
is,
guy.
Answer, hold it.
Listen.
Answer the questions.
All right, you're one. He
Please.
made a lot of statements, right? And his statements are fiction at best.
Fiction, I read them.
Can you
What?
answer the
this
question?
is not
I
real
can't
life.
understand him, to be honest with you.
All right.
He rambles so much. What was your question, actually?
Well, no, you said I made a lot of statements.
No, but what's your question? I don't understand your question. Could you repeat it?
You said anytime, any place.
What's your question?
Accept the challenge.
What challenge?
You said anytime, any place. I'm accepting yours, so why don't you come
What
back?
challenge? What challenge are you talking
April
about?
30th. How about we do it for a charity at the Smoking Guns in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
We're not going to be
what was the
talking about
challenge?
physical
What are you talking about?
confrontations here.
You want to fight me?
What'd you say about anytime, any place?
Let's have coffee, discuss our differences.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah, you smile.
All right, well, let's sit down and have coffee.
Let's
I'd
do
love
it.
to.
All right. I'd love to.
But
It's
the
funny how you're back.
You want
Okay.
to
I don't
fight
back on
me?
anything.
You did.
You're the one. You're a 100.
Senator,
Should be the most influential people in this country making changes.
Senator
You're
Hassan.
focused on.
okay.
You're
thank
focused
That
on
middle
making
schoolers that
something
act like
relevant.
this.
Text
You're an
you and they got
embarrassment.
silent.
You're an
Excuse me.
embarrassment.
Then
That's
went
what you are.
silence after
You're an embarrassment to the
text.
state of
This
Oklahoma.
hearing is
Yeah.
about the
They're gonna
condition of
kill
the working
Bernie.
class in America.
You
That's
brought
why we're
a thug
talking-
into this
You're the
country.
biggest thug here.
You brought him in.
All right,
You're the
being-
biggest thug. Even
Look,
your
I don't know
colleagues call you.
why
a
you do
joke.
what you're doing, Senator Hassan.
Thank you
Why
very much.
you
Mr.
do what you're
Chair.
doing?
Senator Mullen, please yield. I've been recognized
No,
by the chair.
Now the senators are going to start fighting. So I just and there's one before that. That's not the only time. The one that happened back in March. I think what's he tell him? He says you're out of line. And Mark Wayne, which I don't know what kind of name that is, Mark Wayne. I'd probably just go by Mark, but it is what it is. Mark Wayne says, "Don't tell me I'm out of line. Don't tell me I'm out of line." Here's the thing. Where is that bot at? I don't know how that bot's still in here. Clinton Hummel. That bot said, "Yeah, bring back caning." You know, there was a time when that actually happened in the United States government. And like people would literally beat each other nearly half to death on the Senate floor. Now, we've gotten past those times, and maybe that's the problem here. I don't really know. But I watched this. I didn't see this today. It was actually my mother who sent me this video. And I watched this video, and the very first time through I watched it. Now I'm going to tell you, I want to know what your thoughts are on this, on what you watched here. Because I know that there are different people here of different beliefs that have different opinions. And he's I don't think it was he's Bruce Wayne's brother. I'll tell you, the beard actually does it for that dude, because I was looking him up and I was like, no, that's not the man. And it was just he didn't have a beard. And I was like, oh, holy shit. That guy needs, that's what my mom said. My mom said, can you tell me if this is real or if this is a parody? And I was like, no, it's real. I promise you, this is real. This shit is real. So the very first thing I thought when I watched this was, dude, this guy's a teamster. You know he's like talking mad shit behind the scenes. You know that he's like being tough. He's being a tough guy. He's used to smacking some people around and whatnot. He literally said when he got elected back to being the boss that he wanted to mob it up some. He wanted to bring back more of the standards of the mob. And so, like, look, that guy thinks he's a tough guy. Absolutely. Apparently, Mark Wayne Mullen used to be somewhat of an MMA fighter at some point in his life, which is probably why he's jumping to that now. But when I was watching this, I was driving back and forth. I was driving back across town. I was at my grandparents' house, and I was driving back, and I was just listening to it. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, fight somebody, fight, throw a chair. And for 10 seconds, like 10 seconds, I wasn't like somebody who's like paid attention to politics and watched all of this stuff and blah, blah, blah. I got into the mindset of the people who just like the drama of it. And I was like, yeah, kick ass, awesome, fight, fight. That's when I was just kind of like listening to it. When I got here and I was able to like look at the video and watch the phone, and I went back and I rolled it back and I shared it. I kind of think that this is, I just didn't like it as much. Now, keep in mind, folks, we're not talking about citizens speaking up against elected officials or whatever. We're talking about people in the government, and let's face it, Sean O'Brien, he's not a government official, but he's not just some Tom, Dick, or Harry off the street coming in and redressing government either. He's a witness there speaking before this committee. And, he's not just some body in there looking for some help or some, to redress his government. And so you've got these two people that are in positions, and it's just more of the joke. It's more of the joke. Like, they would never allow for us to get that way. Like, you go to a meeting, and as a citizen, you dislike something that an elected official does, and it puts you off, and it makes you, it puts you off a little bit, and it makes you raise your voice, and gaveling you down. Rose Selby's giving me like 2 minutes to speak, and that's it at a subcommittee meeting of the council, or they're shutting you down and wanting Josh to be removed from a council meeting, or they want someone to be hauled out of a commissioner's meeting. These two gentlemen were literally like talking about coming to like blows. Now, I did like the idea towards the end when he's like, let's do it for charity. I couldn't think of anything even any better than this. I have long thought that elections should come with, like, at the end, right before election day, you get both these people in the ring and just let them beat the hell out of each other. That's kind of cool. I'd like to see that. I think, yeah, bro, Brandon's here. Brandon. I think that would be fantastic. Now, I do got to say, it's
Niles would kick Bob's ass.
what? Yes, wait, no, come back up here. Say it again.
Niles would kick Bob's ass.
Yeah. Do they get like a handicap, like tag in? Like, okay, I'm gonna have to tag somebody in, because what would that be? Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's hilarious. Maybe it would be like could we settle this through like a bowling match instead? That's hilarious. However, I want to pull this up, because this is the thing that really, really gets me. Let me see if I can find this here. This is the thing that I think really set Mullen off. All right. It was the fact that, let me see if I can pull it up here. Dang it. I know I had it earlier. Okay, right here. I'll do it this way. Folks, this does tie into local stuff here in a minute. I mean, it basically is now. Look, it is what it is. Find there here. This is funny. Let me see where it's at. Let me see. Man, where's the actual? Oh, here we go. I guess it makes sense if we actually go to Twitter. Probably be easier to see it from Twitter or X. I can't. I just can't call it X. I'm sorry. People's like, "Are you on X?" I'm like, "No, what? I wouldn't tell you that if I was." Get away from me. Okay, let's see here. Let's find here what we're talking about. Where is the actual picture? Come on, damn it. Oh, hold on here. Let me see what. I'm off the page real quick here. Give me a second. Where is the original? I'm looking for the original picture. See if Vice has it. Anyways, I wanted to show it. If you, I'm trying to find it here on the fly. I had it, but I for some reason don't have it up here. There was a
Look at
picture.
your phone message just saying, look at your phone.
I'm not seeing that. Where are you seeing that at?
It's one of the comments. Look at your phone.
I'm looking at my phone. Let me see if it's. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at. It's still not showing me the. All right. Anyways, what I was looking for was the back in June. O'Brien had tweeted out this picture of Mark Wayne Mullen on a set at like a debate or something like this, where he's standing behind a podium and he is standing on a platform of like, I don't know, 4 inches. So it's like he's obviously quite a bit shorter than whoever he was debating. And Mullen is basically like making fun of him and kind of calling him like a clown and whatnot. And so I feel like that's kind of what hurt Mullen's pride a little bit. And he's like, you know, needed to kind of be like, I am the tough man. I am a former MMA fighter. You know, we all know the biggest guy doesn't always win, but you know, nobody likes to be called short. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, here it is. Ha! It was right in front of my face. I knew I had it. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. So here's this picture where Sean O'Brien said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made, in reality just a clown and a fraud, always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Little man syndrome. And then he shows the picture of him standing on this, you know, 4-inch platform with this gentleman over here. So I kind of think that's kind of what hurt his pride a little bit. But so that's what's going on there. But just rather interesting situation. But I just got to thinking about like the chaos that this is, and this is the national government. This is the United States government. And it's like, all right, if I'm not saying that's how they should act, I'm thinking maybe they should conduct themselves a little bit more with decorum. But for the love of God, if you say one word out of pocket around here, anywhere at the state level, at the local level, it's like a big ordeal. And so I just kind of think like maybe we need like everyone keeps talking about the big reset. Maybe we just need a big brawl. I titled this episode. The title of this episode is episode 78. Ring the bell so we can get back to real life. Like maybe we just need the big, yes, Joey. Maybe we just need to like get one big brawl over with and then be like, okay, we got it out of our system. All right, let's get back to real life. You know what I mean? I don't know. Mark Wayne, you look like a Smurf. Who looks like a Smurf? That's hilarious. If height is an issue, bet tall dude hit head on. Karen O. That's hilarious. Are they going back to dueling like national yeah, right. Like, we have, it's like, hearings are scheduled for prior to lunch and our duels are held after lunch, and so it's just it's crazy. Yeah, can we have the steel cage match first? Okay, cage matches early morning, hearings in the afternoon. I can deal with that. To the other rep in a meeting today. Jeez, that's high noon, man. I'm telling you, absolutely. That's what we could do to maybe get things back on track. Maybe that's the way it needs to be. We can get a little bit more cowboy-like, or as Mary said, middle school-like. Maybe we need to get back to a middle school mentality. I cannot wait until we hear the first "your mama's so fat" joke, or whatever comes next. 4 inches from Lincoln Heights. So yeah, that happened in the Capitol today, and it's good to know that things there are as crazy as they are every place else. I did not, unfortunately, make it to Madison County today, but I can tell you from the text messages that the good doctor has been sending my way. Apparently, they had some craziness go on there. I'm supposed to call her after the show. So hopefully I will find out what's going on there. I know we're going to have her on the show coming up. I don't know when. I know that she wants to do a show coming up with Brandon and I talking about the precinct committee people and talking about kind of how like all of that goes, the importance of running for precinct committee chairperson, or excuse me, to running as a precinct committee person, how important that is. And there's two positions there. There's a precinct committee person and a vice precinct committee person, and each party has them. The Democrat Party has them, and the Republican Party has them. So that's very, very important. Also, along with that, is there's a lot of things that go into that. If you have a male precinct committee person, the vice chair has to be a female, and it's like that way on both sides. And the reason those are important, what those positions do, what they don't do, how you can run to be those positions. It's like single-handedly the most unimportant while being single-handedly the most important position in local government. You don't get paid for being precinct committee person. You don't do a whole lot, but then when you are asked and tasked for working, what you do is very, very, very important. So that's big. Mary would have put them in detention so fast. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone seen the female mayor in Illinois who makes the council sit below her and adjourns meetings when people ask her about I know I did not see that, but you're talking about Winchester. Hell, in Winchester, they sit below the mayor there and he like lords above them. They have their back to him, and that's kind of what goes on there. I've griped about that for a long time. Congress voted to prevent a shutdown next to the Senate. Biden said he would sign it if it makes it to his desk. That's interesting. Let's see what's going on over here. What's that, Kate? Dana. I hadn't seen that. She's typing something big. Okay, I got some info. Republicans elect PCs. Oh, Audie got some info from last night too. Okay, got some info. Republicans elect PCs in the presidential race. Democrats elect theirs in the county race, and the chairman elected is in the off year. Okay, that's right. And so what I was wrong about was in 2020, when the Democrats elected their chair, it was because Allie stepped down. Audie reminded me about that last year. So yeah, so I'm glad you. It's Mailbag of Hate is Dana. Yes. Man, I've not listened to her in forever. I can't believe I knew that. So, all right. Moving on from there. Speaking of the Mailbag of Hate that Kate brought back to our attention, I'm nervous. I'm like literally have been holding this off because I've been wanting to look at this like all day, but I haven't looked at it because I wanted to open it with you guys. So I've kind of just been like killing time. We are getting ready to open this up, and I'm so nervous that it's going to like piss me off and I'm going to be so mad, but I guess that's part of the fun of it. Okay. So to refresh you guys' memory, I literally think I'm having a stroke. To refresh your all's memory, this is the records request. That's not really a records request. It's really requesting the bid paperwork, which is what the paperwork stated that anybody could do. I mean, I want to be clear. The paperwork that I got this from was a contractor. I got this from a contractor. So how do these people know that I'm not picking up the bid information for this contractor? How do we how do they not know that? How do they know what I'm doing? Why is it a concern of who would now? And I'm just saying this because I don't believe that people, in order to get this, have to go through the process of filing a records request, because the paperwork said in order to get this information, email the architect. And I did just that. I emailed the architect. Brandon says, I know a video. Are you were you here last night when I played it? Brando, were you here? I don't know if you were here when I played it. My grandparents loved it. I just played it for them earlier today. They loved it. I've watched that thing like 100 times. It's great. Yeah, it shouldn't be a concern to them. Why? I mean, and that guy doesn't know who I am. That's why it leads me to believe, and this, I could be way far off base here, but and then if this is the case, then it leads me to believe, why would they do this? Are they finding out and like talking amongst themselves on who they want to be able to get this paperwork? Like, is this how they narrow down who actually gets the bids in the end? Because think about this. Think about if the paperwork that they sent out says, in order to get information on this, for the bid information, email John Doe. And person X emails John Doe. Then John Doe gets that email and says, instead of just sending them the information, that person then reaches back out to the city and says, hey, I just got an email from so-and-so. What should I do? Does the city then say, oh, okay, well, you can go ahead and send them the paperwork, or tell them to go through the records request? Because that's why I think what's happened here. Okay? Because Keith, or whatever his name is, Keith Gary, would not have known the name Kristopher Bilbrey. I'm sorry. I know I'm big and bad and special and important and can change the face of elections here in Delaware County, but he would not have known me. I just don't believe it. So I feel like he took my information, he emailed Adam or someone at City Hall, and they told him to tell me to go through the record request process. Why would he have said that? That's the problem. It's the two first names. He's got two first names. I am the Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Are you the Kristopher H. Bilbrey? Hello, Keith, if you're watching. If you are, Keith, would you just call in and save all this trouble and tell me why or how you would have known to tell me to file a records request? So I sent a response back to him, but this time I also tagged Micah Wilson, Dan Ridenauer, and Adam Leach in it. And I said, I don't think that this is the proper way to do this, but okay, if it is, then consider this my request. And instead of just filling it out, if they would have just filled it out even at that point, that would have been it. But oh no, she needed to be a smartass. And when she sent me back the reply saying, well, we went over this every time and I've explained this to you. No. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. I know public record laws, Micah. I think we'll be okay. It's you guys that seem to falter on the knowledge of the actual laws. So we're going to open this email up, and I can tell you I'm nervous because I just wanted her to do the right thing. It shouldn't be that hard. I don't want to fight these people for the next 4 years, and I know it's going to be a fight. Oh, here we go. All right. Share this tab instead. Let me see if I got anything hiding. I don't want to dox anybody. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Like she thinks she's going to enjoy this phone call. I'll record this phone call for you all. We'll record it. I wish we could do it live, but being late, I'll record it and we'll play this tomorrow. Good morning, Chris. I do not have a request from you regarding the information outlined in the email. Please complete the form. See, they're trying to get me to do something that is not needed. Micah, I know Keith doesn't watch or don't believe that Keith watches. Maybe he does. Hello, Keith, if you are. But I know that this stuff gets back to Micah. Let me explain to you. I am not filling out that form. I do not have to do that per law. I am not going to do that per law. The system doesn't work all the time. And every time I sign on to that stupid page that you have, it makes me do twice the work. Because I have to go through and fill it out there. I press send, and it just waits, and then it crashes. So then I go through, I fill it out again, I press send, and it just goes around and around and around and around and around until it crashes. So then I get out of that system, I go to the email, I write it all out again. Like, I don't understand. You know we're having this issue. I'm not going to waste my time anymore. If you guys want to write it from your email into your form because that's how you think you need it, you're capable and able to waste your time on your own time. But I'm not wasting my time anymore doing something that by law I don't need to do in the first place. So she says, please complete the form per our policy. If you believe you did submit the form, provide me with your request number so I can determine why it was not received by our office. If you're having trouble completing the form, please call me and I will be able to assist you better. I will be calling her tomorrow and we will be dealing with that. And when she says, this is what kills me, I do not have a request regarding that information. Yes, you do. It's in the email. Look, right here. I would like an answer to that question. However, that said, per the Indiana Access to Public Record Act, here's the law. This is now a request for records. This email right here, here it is. Also, a request for records under Indiana's said Access to Public Records Act 5-1431. Under the Indiana Access to Public Records Act, I am requesting an opportunity to inspect or obtain copies of the following public records relating to the following. All documents that are listed under Section D of the advertisement for bids. See the attachment below. The section is highlighted. All emails to or from Keith Gary, Adam Leach, Dan Ridenauer, Micah Wilson between the dates of November 2nd, 2023 and November 3rd, 2023, referencing my request to Mr. Gary. All emails to or from Keith Gary, Adam Leach, Dan Ridenauer between the dates of November 1st, 2022 and November 13th, 2023. Reference the property at 809 West 8th Street, Muncie, Indiana. And lastly, the sign-in sheet from the pre-bid meeting on Wednesday, November 8th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. The requested information is in the public interest and will contribute significantly to the public's understanding of the Muncie City government and how the city does business. This will help foster communication, transparency, and it will allow for the appropriate accountability for all involved. The Indiana Access to Public Records Act requires a response time within 7 business days. If access to the records I am requesting will take longer than 7 days, please contact me with information about when I might expect copies or the ability to inspect the requested records. If you deny any or all of this request, please cite each specific exemption you feel justifies the refusal to release the information and notify me of the appeal procedures available to me under the law. Thank you very much, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, the Kristopher H. Bilbrey. I think I'm going to start putting that in my correspondence, Brando. Thank you for that. Why do they insist upon this? Why? Misinformed 2022. They are stalling. Listen to me. It does not matter what I ask for. This administration has never, and I mean ever, given me documents. I think the quickest time I've ever got documents has been a 2-week turnaround. That's been pretty quick for them. I've requested documents from the city of Anderson before, in which I've requested documents and they've called me before I've been out of City Hall. I've requested documents from the city of Muncie in prior administrations where I've issued the request, and by an hour later, I have the documents. I've requested records from Newcastle and Henry County like that. I've requested records from Winchester. Hell, when I used to battle Winchester, battle them just the same as I do Dan. Maybe worse. They still would turn around records pretty quickly. I hate this. And the problem is, this is what I don't understand. Tell me if this makes sense to you. I've never understood this. If I request these documents and they provide the documents to me, and there is nothing wrong, nothing's out of sort, nothing looks weird, it doesn't go anywhere, hell, I might not even talk about it. I mean, folks, let me tell you, there are plenty of requests that I've turned in that I have never covered on this show. If I'm looking for something, or if I think something, I request it, and if I get it in and it's nothing, I just don't talk about it. There's nothing interesting for me to say, about, like saying, I want to know what, the answer to 2 + 2 is, and the city has it on a piece of paper, and I want that, and they hand it to me, and it says, the answer is 4, and they give it to me in a 2-week period. No big deal. If they would hand it over to me in a day's time, if it's an easy request, see, keep in mind, folks, and I used to not think about this. It's actually Sarah Beach who taught me this, and it's just common sense, but I didn't think about it. You don't think about it till you think about it. I, from the outside, or citizens, think we can ask for paperwork, and I want to ask for paperwork, and I want to ask now, and I want it now. Okay? Well, if you're going in and you're handing a records request in for something from 1982, chances are the city don't have it. But if you're going in and you want something from 5 years ago, they better have that. They need to have that. But it's going to take them some time to find it. It's not like they're going to just pull it up like that. They're going to have to do some digging. So it's going to take them some time to get to that. I can't just go up there and say, here's a request from 5 years ago, and by God, I want it now. It makes sense that it's going to take some time. But if I go in there and I tell them that I want an email chain between Dan Ridenauer and someone named Keith Gary from November 1st, 2023 till November 13th, 2023, that's an email this week, in the last 2 weeks. That's not something that they need to go back on and go into IT and hunt and hunt and hunt. It's like a you know, a roll of the finger on the mouse pad, you know? It's not hard. It's not hard. So what happens is when they do this and they stall for no good reason, it causes me and or anyone else to say, I wonder why they're stalling. They're stalling on something that doesn't seem like it should require a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work. So if they're stalling, there must be something wrong. So then each and every day they stall, hell, that gives me content to come on here and to talk about them. They're stalling. Why? Why are they stalling? They shouldn't be stalling. What's going on? Then, at the end of the day, when eventually they have to give it to me, because no matter how long they stall, eventually they will give it to me. I get it, and it's going to go one of two ways. Number one, there's something bad in the paperwork. And I'm like, look, I knew it. This is why they've been stalling for how many videos? I could put this up. I've done this exact same video before. And this is why they're so stupid. I'd be like, look, I knew it. This is why they were stalling. Those bastards. Or I can say, everything looks in order here. Why would they have drugged their feet on this? This is stupid. Then what they do is, in their mind, they're like, look, Bilbrey was wrong. He's bitched about this for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if they think it makes me look bad or wrong or what, because it doesn't. It's me saying they're dragging their feet for no good reason. If they would just, listen, if Shireen Wegley would put down her cell phone and stay off social media long enough, maybe she could be digging through the paperwork and trying to come up with the solution. That's the real problem here. So they give me content, whereas the flip side of that is if there's something wrong and they would just have given it to me up front, yes, I would do a show and say, look, there's a problem. But then after that, that's over and done with. There's not really much more I can say about it. The anticipation, everybody's waiting. Okay, well, we can hang on for that. And the longer they take, the worse they make it. They didn't receive yeah, you don't have contractor friends, stupid Bilbrey. I don't know, folks. I think it's ridiculous. Also talking, well, I don't really know why. I mean, I could go live. I could go live or I could just record it and play it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll see how it goes. See what happens tomorrow. I just wish they wouldn't be so bloody awful. So horrible. I'm going to tell you, I've not told, I don't know if I've told you guys this or not. Did I tell you that I have been being contacted by the other side, people on the other side, and they're like, they're having like meetings, getting together and talking about like how they lost. They literally are now realizing that Dan alone is not a win. that Dan without a council is just Dan. It's no good. Here's what I'll do. If it's good, I'll go live, and if it's just ho hum, I'll wait until tomorrow night. Audie said he was contacted by the other side today. I'm telling you, yeah. The other side is their panties are in a bunch because they're realizing that they're gonna have a hard road to hoe. And I'm like, why? Dan hasn't used the council in the last year and a half. Why do you think he needs to now? He keeps talking about, he said in the newspaper, I want this council to appoint a council member to the MRC. The great beyond, Alva. I'll get back to that in a sec. I'll get back to that in a second. Oh, there's Sarah. There's Sarah Beach. What's your thought, Sarah? I haven't seen you on here in a minute. What's your thought about Dan keeps saying Alva. Dan keeps saying that he wants the council to appoint a council person to the MRC. And I got to talking last night with someone, and we think that that's hinting around to Nora possibly being the one they're talking about. What in, oh my God, I cannot imagine how horrible the next couple of years will be if Nora is on the council. She's the council president. She's on the MRC. And listen, when I say horrible, I mean, it's not going to be good for me. It's not going to be good for Muncie, but it's not going to be good for Dan either. Like, I want to know how long until Dan comes running back to me and being like, you got to help us fight Nora. I just might, for shits and giggles, just be like, all right, Nora, how do we defeat Dan? That's a joke, because I would much rather have Dan Ridenhour than Nora for a mayor. That's no. Nora seems to think that we've got. Why would he want Nora on MRC and not Basham? Who would be his rubber stamp? Kate, that's the question. Why would he want Nora on instead of Basham? Well, number one, he doesn't get to say who they put on. It would be the council's pick. And he probably would want Basham. But what Sarah said right there. Yeah, Nora. Oops. Yeah, Nora is sorry. I saw you were eating, so I didn't know. Basham won't get the Democrat votes. Yeah, Nora is buttering him up. She wants to set herself up for a mayoral run. He's stupid if he does that. The Republicans are stupid if they let him do that. The thing is, it won't be his deal. It'll be the Democrats. They've got 6-3. So they just say, well, we want Nora to be our MRC person. And then they go, Nora Powell votes for herself. William McIntosh votes for her. Brandon Garrett votes for her. Sarah Gullion votes for her. Jerry Dishman votes for her. And Harold Mason votes for her. Ding, 6. And then she's on the MRC. So, this hurts my brain, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be wild to see what goes on. It's not far from, it's not really that far-fetched either, because keep in mind that, look, I want to show you. I'm going to show you right here, right now. Let me pull it up. Look. It was just last year that this happened. Wait till I show you right here. Yep, I've got her right here. Look at this. Look at this giggling, smiling idiot. Look, here is Dan Ridenour smiling like a fool, smoking a pack of cigarettes and saying, how did I get cancer? What? How did I get cancer? I can't get cancer. Drinking lighter fluid, pesticides. What? Standing right there, swearing cancer in, standing right in front of him. Look, folks. Nora Evans Powell swore in this afternoon to serve on the Metropolitan Planning Commission. Thank you for serving your community. Listen, this is a weighted board. This is a weighted board. The mayor had to appoint a Democrat. But it was the mayor's choice. He could have appointed any Democrat. He could have appointed a Democrat who he had a relationship with or felt close with. Did he? We don't know. Did she make him feel that way? He could have appointed a Democrat who he felt he had control of. Did he? Did she make him feel like that? Think that way? That's absolutely. Because this happened, look when this happened, it might be hard for you all to see. This happened November 9th of last year, folks. This was happening right around the time that Nora and Jeff were talking about her running for District 2 as Jeff. Yeah. This is a good time for you to run for mayor, Jeff. You need to run. And I got District 2. I got District 2. Jeff should have stayed in District 2. Jeff should have ran for re-election in District 2. He wouldn't necessarily think that. I don't know that he would think that. Specifically, if Nora, you got to understand the psyche of Nora. Nora will lead him to believe that she can help him. Dan, we were on the council. We are old timers, Dan. You know me. You know I'm smart. You know I know. You're doing a good job. You're not that evil Dennis Tyler. You're doing such a good job. Run for mayor, Jeff. Run for mayor, and I'll run for your seat.
I
You will
know
have
that
me on your
it's-
council, sucker.
it's the council's choice who would go on the MRC.
Yeah.
But why would he open up a seat to, it could be one of 9 people. There's no guarantee he's going to get somebody, the council's going to pick somebody that's going to be his little rubber stamp, or, you
Yeah.
know, trying to, lick his ass to put themselves in a good political position.
Well, I gotta figure out. Okay, because I
It
man,
doesn't
I
make
wish.
sense why he would open himself up for that.
What do you mean? Why he would open himself up? So the
Why he
MRC
would
is a
suggest putting
5-person
a
board.
council member on the MRC.
Well, yeah, because he said they didn't. He's like they didn't do it in 2019. And he's like, he's in the paper. He's like, I don't know why they didn't do this in 2019. He was like, I don't know why they didn't. And the MRC is a 5-person board, and the MRC, the council, instead of putting a council member on, put Andrew Dale on the board.
So the council gets to appoint someone.
The council gets an appointment.
Okay. And they didn't
Yeah.
choose one of their members.
Right. They
So
chose.
he's saying you need to have a council member.
Uh-huh. Their choice was Andrew Dale, and then when Dale
Just
came
doesn't
off,
want Andrew Dale on there again.
huh?
He just doesn't want to.
He does not want Andrew Dale on. He does
No.
not want Andrew Dale. But with Nora at the helm of the at the council, she wouldn't want Andrew Dale either. So she'll make. Well, I think they're buddy, but Nora is now positioning herself in position to call all the shots. Whether that is a mayoral run in Muncie or to run for Sue Arrington's seat, I don't know what she's looking to do, but Nora has power moves. Nora's looking to make power moves always. That's who she is.
I get that. I don't get him.
Yeah, well, Sarah just said it here. There's only one reason he's bringing it up, because someone has put it in his mind. Someone has approached him on it, because it doesn't make sense why it doesn't make sense why he would do that. Nora wants on all boards. She's looking to enhance her resume. Yeah. Listen, however evil I believe she might be, I do not discount her intelligence. There is an intelligence there, and it's scary.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. But,
Yeah, that's all right.
but
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I just
I get what you're saying. He's dumb. He's dumb.
Don't get it.
He was dumb for this. Because look, this was his pick. He could have picked anybody. He could have put Sarah Beach on this board. He could have put Audie on this board.
He could have walked down the street and grabbed random Joe Smith and said,
Hey, are you a Democrat? I mean, it's Muncie. Chances are if he threw a rock out of an office window, he would have hit a Democrat. And Sarah said, and people think we're stupid. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to get to like July. And I know this is why I'm so down, I guess. We're going to get to July, and there's going to be people, and some of you are in this very chat watching this right tonight, who are going to say, okay, enough already. We get it. You're wearing us out on Nora. There's going to be people who are going to say that, but you don't understand. It's because, figuratively speaking, until we politically kill it politically with fire, she is a cancer that is like she like Bruce Lee's like be water. She is like politically like water. She's going to get in every hole and crevice and area that she can get into, and that's her power. She's got power moves, man. She said it's scary that people do not heed the warnings, and that is, dude, there is history with her and her family that cannot be ignored. Z. Yeah, I believe Sarah. Look, Karen's worn out already. Me too, dude. Dude, hey, she is, I'm telling
She's
you.
politically minded.
Yeah, there needs to be 5 of me. Couple Sarahs and 2 or 3 other people. Freedom is scary. Deal with it. Yeah, no kidding.
Fair
That's
enough.
true.
All right.
True. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thank you. But yeah, that's that. That's I don't know. The Republicans are. Oh, that's the other thing I want to show you. I'll pop back up here real quick, Kate. I want to ask you a question because you're the one that shared this in the thing.
Oh,
Then I haven't watched a lot of that channel. Do you
I
watch
haven't
that news guy?
either. I don't
Okay.
usually watch that. It popped up in my feed for an ad or something.
I liked a lot of what he said, but it was weird how much he was talking about himself. Is he a commentator or is he a straight journalist?
I don't know.
I hope he's a commentator.
I think he's a commentator.
Okay, because I was shocked at how much he was talking about
His
politics.
hometown.
Huh? Yeah.
His
Just
hometown
like-
politics and stuff. And I
Yeah,
personally called 300 people, you know.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, that's a little weird. But I was digging what he was saying. Because there's going to be, I want to play part of this, and there's going to be people who are going to be offended by what he says. And I know that's going to happen, but I'm going to end on this. But there are going to be people that will be not like some of what he says. But what he says, especially in the early on part, if you look at what goes on around here locally, it's very, very, very true.
Mhm.
So I was interested in your take on that. If you
It
knew
was
anything more about
interesting.
him.
It wasn't something that I typically watch.
Sure.
So, and it just struck me. I was like, is he talking about local? No, crap,
Right.
no, he's talking about national. And it was just
Right.
the correlation just really struck me. So
Yeah.
I sent it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree. All right. Okay. So we're going to watch just a minute of this then here. Thank you, Kate. All right. I'm going to pop this gentleman up. Now, keep in mind, this guy is talking about. So he's a Republican. Okay. And what he's talking about is the Republicans needing to use some of the same tactics as the Democrats. And he's getting mad that his Republican Party isn't doing that. So I want you to listen to some of this. And then I want to talk about how I think it relates to here locally, some and some not. So we'll take a look at this.
Completely dropping the ball. I laid out what I thought. Well, we talked about it yesterday, how the GOP is completely dropping the ball. I laid out what I thought the only path forward is last night. Now, I don't know if Vivek Ramaswamy actually watched my segment before he went on stage, but man, he let Ronna, Romney, McDaniel have it last night. This is the unwatchable presidential debate. One good thing on NBC News came out of it.
We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer to the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. Do you think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate?
Not wrong. Look, Vivek has less than a snowball's chance in hell of being elected, but he is exactly right. Why do you think Trump isn't going to any of these debates? Now, Ronna McDaniel, Mitt Romney's niece, by the way, is the figurehead of the problem here. I said this back when she spent like $100,000 of donor dollars on hair and makeup just in 2022. But the bigger problem is the notion of action and organization is entirely different between the two parties. And I have seen this firsthand in so many places across the country. Folks, just before the show started, I was an elected member of my town council, so I know about this stuff. Republicans get together, and I have been in the meetings. They get together, and everyone has an idea, and everybody has a plan, and the meeting adjourns, and nothing happens. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. There are very few sled dogs that actually do the work in the Republican Party. We hold fancy events, we hire expensive strategists and consultants and big-name speakers, but we as Republicans do not have enough people pounding the phones, knocking on doors, and doing the legwork. We don't hire them either. We as a party, the Republican Party, push all that off on the candidates who also often have a similar problem in their campaigns. One guy can't hit every door in his district. Honestly, you sitting at home, and folks, I'm not knocking you, I'm not lecturing you. As you're watching the show right now, if you live in one of the 37 states that had an election on Tuesday, how many doors did you personally knock on? Think about it. How many phone calls did you make to remind people to get out to the voting polls? Did your neighbor do it too? I can show you on my phone logs, folks. I made over 300 phone calls on Tuesday from a sheet that my local party chair sent me to ask people to get out and vote at the polls. Because in my town, we took that page from the Democratic playbook and it worked. Think about this. Democrats advocate for higher taxes, more control over your life, and in every city and state they control, people are fleeing in droves from high costs, taxes, crime, loss of freedoms, whatever. Perfect example. Look at New York and look at Florida. Who's leaving and who's going to which state? They're not going to Democratic states, folks.
All right, I'm going to pull him off of there. I'm going to pull that off of there. He starts to kind of really go partisan there, but a lot of what he was saying tends to be interesting to me. You know, the whole line that they always used to say that Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line, and somehow that's gotten like flipped upside down, and now it's like Republicans fall in love and Democrats fall in line. I just don't. It's a lot about what I was talking to Sarah the other night. We've talked a couple nights about this, about how in this race she was looking at the absentee votes and how the absentee votes has really dropped in the last several years. That's something that you could count on in Muncie, man. Like you could count on like clockwork at noon on election day when they started tearing into the absentee votes, the ABV, the absent ballot votes that came in by mail. Those people had a lot of work. They had a lot of work. And what that work was ripping into ballots that were coming in, and they might have a stack this big of Republicans, and they had a stack, this big of Democrats, because the Democrats got out there and really got to it with the absentee ballots. And what happened this year was that shrank. That really shrank. I was shocked at how few absent ballot voters the Democrats had. I was really shocked at how much early the Republicans had increased. Now, it wasn't enough. Now, you did say, and Sarah said it here, that the ABVs have gone down, but early voting has increased. But I still have to believe that there's a lot of people being left on the tables when it comes to the mail-in ballots. Now, perfectly honest, I'm not a fan of the mail-in ballots. That's not something that I'm like a big fan of. My grandparents have been doing it, I want to say last election was probably their fourth election doing it. Probably their fourth year doing it. And I'm not a fan of that way. I think if you're healthy and if you're able, you need to go on election day and you need to vote. That's if you're worried about voter fraud and voter the votes being secure and you want your vote to count, you need to vote on election day. If you're in the military, if you're traveling for work, if you're sick, if you're elderly, those are reasons to either vote early, walking in person, or vote by mail. And I would say probably the way I would do it is my number one way to vote is in person on election day. Then if you're going to do either, I would vote in person early, and then mail in would be the last form. And then from there, I would say even below that would be the voter board coming around and doing it. I really don't understand the whole voter board thing, but I was shocked at how many absent ballot votes did not vote in the mayoral candidate. I know, that's so crazy to me. You got the ballot, you're going through the trouble of having, because it's not like you just say, all right, I want a ballot, and it gets sent to your house. You got to request a form. You got to fill out a form. You got to mail the form in or drop the form off. Then they got to mail it to you. You got to fill it in and you got to mail it back. That's a lot of work to go through, honestly. And if you're going to go through that much work and then it's like you leave spaces blank. And look, I'm not saying that it's bad for people to leave spaces blank. People can leave spaces blank. I have no problem with that. That not picking is definitely a way to cast a vote. Going and getting the ballot and saying, I'm not happy with either of these mayoral choices, I'm going to leave them blank. You're making a statement with that. So that's perfectly good. It's just so interesting to me that though how many people, like Sarah's saying, this time did not vote in the mayoral race. So what that says is we weren't happy with either choice. We were not happy with Dan, and we were not happy with Jeff. I don't know what they're going to do. The biggest problem that so many people face is we are not, the Republicans and the Democrats feel like they're on the local level. I don't know if they feel like they're strong or what, but I'm telling you, locally speaking, maybe even at the state level a little bit, to me, it feels like the political parties are going the way of like the Masons or the Elks or the Eagles or other fraternity clubs like that, because they're not like the Masons. They didn't, to be one, ask one, they didn't go out and recruit. Well, the Republicans and the Democrats aren't going out and they're not recruiting either. It's very weird. And the parties locally, in my opinion, are starting to die off. They are going to need to start polling people in, and they're going to start needing to strengthen their bench. Their bench is horrible. Sarah says it right here. Andrew Dale should have been the mayoral candidate. Robin should have kept his seat on the council. Nora Powell could beat literally probably any Democrat they put up, any Democrat challenger she probably would have beat in a primary, and she could have beat any Republican they put up. The only Democrat that Nora could not have beat would have been Jeff Robinson. Jeff Robinson is the only candidate that she could not have beat, mostly because she would not have ran against him, I don't believe. But yeah, that should have happened. That should have happened. And so while we are looking at moving ahead here for 2024, we need to be taking the lessons that we learned from this election and applying them to this next election. There says he was repeatedly told this. I know several people that told Jeff that he needed to probably think about staying where he was in the council, to keep him in the council. And we know how that story turned out. I do want to say before we go, we're going to get ready to wrap up here. I do want to let everybody know that there are a couple of very, very important meetings coming up. Monday, November 20th at 9 a.m., there is a Delaware County Commissioners meeting. The solar ordinance will more than likely be discussed, but the Gaston people are going to this meeting in full force. If you're concerned about solar, either pro or against, whichever way you fall, you need to attend the commissioners' meeting. That said, I see a lot of people aren't saying anything about the Tuesday, November 21st council meeting, and that's going to be a biggie too. Councilor Ryan Webb is asking the council to look at rescinding the tax abatement and sending it back to the abatement committee to look at, because he doesn't like it as it sits. And I know that there's been a little bit of pushback on getting that on the agenda. I hope to know more tomorrow about that. So I hopefully we'll have more information for you. But I'll keep you posted on that. So these are the very important county meetings coming up. I do want to let you know, tomorrow the 15th, there is a Board of Works meeting. And there is also then on Thursday the 16th, a Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting. I will be at both of those meetings. And then, of course, tonight there was a Madison County Council meeting. I can't wait to get the scoop from the doctor. And we'll be going from there. If you're like me and you live in Louisiana, please don't forget to vote Saturday the 18th. And I want to tell you, Alva, I looked at what you sent me last night. I'm glad you said that here at the end. I looked at what you sent me last night, and I don't particularly see any craziness with any of those 4 things that you sent. Do you have anything off the top of your head? Do you have take any issue with those 4 constitutional amendments that you guys are looking at? I didn't see anything specifically that I took issue with.
I did.
Okay, tell me. I was interested. We haven't talked about this. Tell me what your thoughts
There's
are.
those funds they want to close down.
Okay, so tell me what you're thinking about.
They're not being used for anything. They haven't been used for a very long time.
Okay.
So they want to dissolve those funds. So it says nothing in there about what's going to be done with those funds.
Okay.
And Alva's got it here. They got $2.2 billion in those funds that for 7 years they've been drawing taxpayer money for.
Okay.
Putting it in coffers that they haven't been using. So is it going to have an effect on the tax rates in Louisiana?
Well, okay.
They don't mention any of that in that amendment. So it's just, we're going to close these funds and then the legislature can go ahead and do whatever the fuck they want with $2.2 billion.
Well, now, wait a minute. So did you look beyond the article?
I read the actual amendment.
Okay, so I didn't do that. I was just looking at what they were. So the actual amendment does not say anything that they're going to do. All right, now that I would have a problem with. I understand that, because I thought
$2.2 billion that just apparently the legislature can fuck off with.
Okay,
that disturbs me a little bit.
Yeah, that I'm not okay with. As
reading
this,
I didn't see anything that I noticed in the other ones that was kind of like, oh, okay.
Right. Because reading this, the way that I read it, I thought, well, man, if they close this and they're not going to do anything with this, either what are they going to be doing this back? Are they going to be giving that back to the citizens in some kind of a stimulus check, or are they going to be using that as like something that's going to lower, something here or there. I thought that wouldn't be that big a deal, but
Alvin says they're planning on bailing out part of the deficit in the health care of the state employees. I figure with 2.2 billion, they'd be able to like completely deal with the deficit.
yeah, right. How
big of a deficit do they have?
How big a yeah, how big of a deficit do you guys have?
Dang.
Yeah, Chris Bunner, I'm actually waiting to. That's funny that you mentioned that. I wanted to talk about that tonight. See you. I wanted to talk about that tonight, but I was supposed to hear from someone today, and unfortunately, that person did not get back in touch with me. They called me when I was at my grandparents' house and told me that they would call me tomorrow. So I'm going to talk to hopefully someone in the morning, which will give me some insight to that, because I do want to talk about that. I mean, look, at the bottom line, you got to go places for things and do stuff for economic development. But good Lord, I mean, these commissioners have done a lot of this stuff, and we've not seen much to show for what they've done. And of course, the newspaper is writing up some great big article that it's going to be this and that. All I really think of that until tomorrow, I'm going to hold off my final judgment until I talk to a source. But to me, it looks like a vacation. It's just a James King and Shannon Henry vacation. They didn't take their sleepy sister, which is interesting. But they're over there, in the Venice canals, riding, their gondola down the. I wonder if they saw my brother while they were over there. I don't know. Maybe so. Yeah, right. Sharon McShirley loved Italy. Anybody remember Berini? I don't think anybody does, Sarah. I don't think anybody does. I see the old signpost that was supposed to be the Berini sign out on 69 every now and then, but I don't think many people give much thought about it whatsoever. That's ridiculous. 2.2 billion will not pay it off? Holy crap. I'll look a little bit more into that, Alva. I'm glad you said something. I will look tonight a little bit further, and I'll read the actual amendments and things like that. I didn't see it. That's crazy. They have been wined and dined by the Italians. That whole group has made the taxpayers. Absolutely, Ryan. That's very true. That is very true. It's time for King to go. It's time for Shannon Henry to go. Something I got to say, if there's any solar people that are listening, I'm going to do a big thing on the solar here coming up. But the solar people are saying, we got to get rid of Shannon Henry. Quit worrying about Shannon Henry. Shannon Henry is not going to resign. You can't get him removed from office. He's not committing a felony. He's not up for election for 2 more years. King is up. Sherry Riggin is up. There's an election. Let me just tell you here real quick. Give me 1 second here. Just to blow you guys' minds. And I might even title this an episode coming up soon. Tuesday. There are 175 days until the Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 primary election. 175 days. if there are people that are not thinking about this election, look, for the Republicans, you got 175 days. It's almost over. If you've not already been planning to run against him, you're about out of luck. You're about out of luck. Now, if you're a Democrat, you got more time than that. But I sure as hell hope somebody on the Republican side has the balls.
Where are the
brains.
districts? What are those commissioners' districts? in
Okay, I'm
Delaware
glad
County?
you ask. I'm glad you ask. So I'll pull this up and show you guys because that is very important.
We need like 5 people running against both.
Yeah, right.
One primary. So if any of you solar people know anyone living in these districts,
Yeah.
push
Yeah,
them
I'll
to
do it.
run. Push them to run.
We'll do a show coming up here with the number of days. And let's see here. Delaware County Commissioners. How am I in Joplin, Missouri? Okay, so here's what we're looking for right here. Whoops. Okay. So, what we're looking at right here is Commissioner District 1, which is all of the south. It's the center of Muncie and the southwest of Muncie. It's Yorktown, it's Daleville, and it's Cowan. All right. This is James King's district, District 1. So anybody that lives in any of Monroe Township, any of Salem Township, and any of Mount Pleasant Township can run. Anybody that lives in the southwest side of Muncie or Center Township, you're District 1. District 2 is all of Washington Township, all of Harrison Township, and the northwest section of Muncie, plus just a little corner of Hamilton. All right. That includes Gaston and,
Now,
the
where
Ball
is it that they're planning on burying the land in solar fields?
The solar field area will be this area here where I'm drawing my Washington Township and around Washington Township and Harrison Township.
Okay.
So these right here, this is the battle zone. If you live in Washington, Harrison, Mount Pleasant, Salem, Monroe, or basically the north and southwest sides of Muncie, we're going crazy here, or Center Township, which is right here in the center, then that, ladies and gentlemen, you can run for office. All right. This really crazy big ass district here, there's just fewer people in this area here, I guess. They say it's by population, but these districts look so out of whack. But this is Shannon Henry's, so he's not up for election. But James King in the green and Sherry Riggin in the. This is like green, shitty green, and shittier green. I mean, this is all green. I wish they would have done different colors, but it is what it is. District 1, District 2, that's what's up for grabs. So you need to be getting it now. Yes, the Albany thing was as well, but I think it might be on a hold right now. I think it might be on a whole separate deal. It wasn't actually part of this. The thing that was, damn, why is that going like that? The part that's, I wish it would stop doing that. Damn it. The part that was going to be around Muncie was going to be, I think, up here, right around the outskirts of Albany over here on this section. but I think it's actually on hold for right now. So we'll have to learn more on Monday and Tuesday next week. That's the new prison districts. Yeah, no kidding. All right, folks, we'll be we'll do an all long episode on this coming up here soon, but now is the time to get thinking. You don't want to be sitting here hearing me say, well, you can file to run for office now. Filing for run for office is over in a week, and think that's the time to pick. The time to be thinking about it, honestly, was 6 months ago, but you could do it now if you put your mind to it, but you're going to have to really put your mind to it. All right. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll be back same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Have a good evening, and try not to punch anybody out tomorrow. Goodbye. Chris and friends.